I can. I think I got um, very good advice. She really guided me well during PM1, so I really want to revert the same feeling with my other coworkers. So I'm very glad to be able to join this e-tutoring program.
That's lovely to hear. I love to hear that when people had a good experience and they want to um uh, return that. That's really a good motivation. So anyone else?
Hi Attila.
Hello, Dinker. Good to hear you.
Hi, greetings from Istanbul. Dear Attila, I have the experience that if I can explain a topic, talk about it, and guide other people, this means that I learn it properly. So guiding, tutoring means learning as well. Also, as my other colleague explained, I had a good experience last year. So I just wanted to be on the other side of the table as well.
Surely, absolutely. I fully understand you. It's good to be on both sides of the table. Great to hear that. What about Harun?
Uh, Hi, Attila. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
hi, Harun. I can hear you now.
Yeah. Uh, Good evening from Afghanistan to all colleagues, and just I want to learn from experience of other colleagues and share my experience, which we are doing in Afghanistan with other colleagues, and improve our knowledge on the area of program.
Absolutely, you're at the right place because we all know that if you get to teach something, you get to learn it twice. So I can assure you, Harun, that you will definitely improve your own knowledge as well while tutoring others. Indeed. Ivica, can you talk to us?
Hi Attila, hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Greetings from Belgrade, sunny Belgrade.
Wonderful. Same weather in Budapest.
Not far away, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah, I could repeat everything what my previous colleagues said. I'm very happy with the completion of PM1 and with my e-tutor. So I would like to learn more. I would like to develop knowledge, develop my career. So this is all positive. So I'm looking forward for this.
Great to hear that. Thanks a lot. And let me see if one more colleague can share some words with us. How about Yasmin from Egypt?
Hello?
Hello, dear Yasmin. We can hear you.
Yes, hi Attila, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Good to hear you.
Thank you. How is everybody? Um,
The whole family is
Actually, I
doing
think it's a
great. Thanks for asking.
great.
So
Yes,
what made you
thank you.
sign up for the program?
Actually, I think it's a win-win learning. And before I joined UNHCR, I worked as a facilitator for a few years, and I believe that I have the skills which I can use it in facilitation or tutoring. Also, I think I'm sure that I will learn a lot from my colleagues and from the colleagues which I will support them, inshallah, in the future. So it's a good experience. I'm so interested.
Thank you so much. I hope it will be a good experience for all of you. Okay, let's move ahead. I think not everybody has a mic, but we already heard a lot of good things on what your motivations are. Here is just a few things which I gathered from the years why people join. Um, uh, this program gives you more skills, I should say, not necessarily pure knowledge, or not only pure knowledge. These skills are very important in the work of program colleagues and actually everybody in UNHCR in field operations, because we all work with people, we all work with partners, NGO partners, and we need to really find a way to improve others' understanding of certain topics. And this is really all what this program is about. You will assess others' knowledge, and you will see if others' knowledge meet a certain level, and then improve that knowledge or drive that person into a certain direction. That's really what coaching is in a nutshell, to enable people to actually learn and motivate people to develop themselves, not necessarily to teach something, not necessarily a university kind of teaching approach is what we are looking for. We need really tutors who can motivate and learn together with others. Also, it is a very good opportunity to extend your professional network, because you will work with colleagues who will sit on the other side of the planet. I normally try to give learners to each tutor with a very different operational context. That's really that can be really interesting to hear the stories from Asia if you're sitting in the Middle East, or to hear stories from Africa if you're sitting in the Americas. So that's really something I really pay attention to. And I think we haven't heard yet, but many of you, I understand, come here join the program to advance your program career path, which is perfectly a valid motivation, because we do recognize your efforts here. And when it comes to selection of participants in future programs, we try to recognize efforts made previously. So I think many of you have on your list of development activities to enroll into the certification program in the future, and completing this program is definitely an advantage for you. And this is all outlined in the All Stuff broadcast, so this is really something you should be preparing for. What's in it for us? Obviously, we don't have sufficient capacity here in the program team. Budapest, we are only a few colleagues, and we have a lot of training projects. PM1 is only one of them. We have about 150, 160 participants a year. By far, we don't have that capacity in-house, so we really need you. We really need your capacity, your inputs to manage all this. And even if we had triple the number of staff here in Budapest, we wouldn't be able to provide that kind of learning experience for our participants, because we are not sitting in field operations. And I think that's one of the biggest pro of the tutoring program, that we can actually link up experienced program tutors who are solving programmatic challenges day to day in the field and can give those kind of inputs to learners. We are here in Budapest, we know a few things because we are engaged with you. We go to the field to missions, to trainings, to support missions, but obviously this is not the same as working in a field operation. So this is really not just a quantity question for us, how many learners we need to sort of serve, but also a quality question, because we believe that this way the quality, the colorfulness of the feedbacks improve as well. And it's no secret that we try as much as possible to engage with you on a long term. So we do hope that this is not just a one-year activity, but you will feel motivated to stay within this network, within this community, and coach learners and learn from others on the long term. Okay. Okay. So what is that we expect from you? is basically outlined on the screen. We will have a preparatory phase. That's actually happening already. That's the first. This webinar is the first item, the first event in the preparatory phase. This preparatory phase is supposed to equip you with few skills and things that you need to work as a tutor. Okay, we will have webinars, forum exercises, you will have access to certain resources, and also you need to be familiar with the PM1 content. That's is going to happen in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then a sample assignment review will follow. What you should think of is a simulated assignment review, where I will give you a mock assignment from previous cohorts, and you will actually have to provide a feedback to this assignment. Just in the same way you would do for a real learner. I will review this assignment feedback and give you tips for improvement. This is basically sort of a quality assurance that we need to maintain, because on the other side of this program, or on the other side of the table, as Dinker said, there are real people, there are UNHCR colleagues, and we need to make sure that the quality of feedback they receive is of a good standard. Okay, and I emphasize here the PM1 e-learnings because you really need to be familiar with what your learners know. You need to know what you can expect from your learners. For this reason, in the learning materials that you will have access to, you will have all the PM1 modules, which are exactly the same as the ones which are in the normal PM1 learning program. If you have completed PM1 before, Learn and Connect obviously recognizes these modules for you. If you haven't done them, you will need to do them. And as I said, you will have access to a learning package, a curriculum, which will be the basis of your studies, so to say, because the E-tutoring program is a learning program for you. It's fact sheet recordable. You know this perfectly well. And the PM1 modules are mandatory elements of this learning curriculum. So eventually, to complete them, you will have to review and complete the PM1 modules. Then the sample assignment review, as I said, is going to be your assignment in this training program. Then comes the feedback phase, which is really the most interesting part of this cohort. If we both agree that you are ready to be assigned to a learner, both in terms of timing and quality and skills and knowledge, I will give you maximum 2 learners from the summer cohort of PM1 from this year. You will receive a lot more information. I don't want to overload you at this point. You will receive a scoring document, supporting material for all of the assignments. and there is always a chance to discuss anything further if you have a question. What I would like to emphasize here is that we are looking for quality feedback, really. If you've been to PM1, and many of you said that you were happy with your tutor, you were happy with the feedbacks you received, we really we would like you to give the same kind of quality. That's what we try to aim for. Okay. Quality is important, and also timeliness is important. It is very important to give the feedbacks in a timely manner. We try to turn around assignments, the initial version of your feedbacks, within 10 business days. That's a manageable time frame. Of course, most likely you will have more rounds of review in most cases, but the initial version of your feedback should arrive within 10 days. Yeah. And as I said many times, this training program, this tutoring program, is to provide tutoring, not teaching. So we need you to be an effective tutor. You need to know your learner. You need to find the common voice with your learner, and the point is to motivate and guide through your participants through their learning journeys. Be a tutor rather than a teacher. To some extent, we expect you also to follow up on learners' progress. It works better if you are reminding your learners. If you are sending them personal messages, normally they react to those kind of messages better than to what we send here from the GLC, kind of official reminders. You already have a relationship with the learner, so from you they take it more personally, and they expect that they receive that in a better context. Obviously, if your learner is lost or your learner is not reacting at all, then we will try to solve that. Maybe it always happens that some learners are resigning from UNHCR while they're enrolled into PM1. There are these cases where we step in. That's about it. The expectations from us, very briefly, I think I already mentioned that the tutoring curriculum, which will have the PM1 self-study material, which is a mandatory element. It will also include some material on tutoring skills. We have a lot of experience in this. We work with external tutors. We work with colleagues who are in the tutoring community. We have sample assignments, sample feedbacks done by others in previous years. So we really have a lot of material that we can share with you. So this is really important to equip yourself properly by going through this stuff. And an element of the curriculum is the sample assignment revision. That is something you need to pass. I need to mark you pass so you can proceed and get your real learners. About the timeline, let me share another document. Okay, you should see my monitor now. This was the initial syllabus that I attached to the invitation to the broadcast. Now, there was a bit of a delay from our side to finalize the selection. Anyhow, we will compress this timeline a bit. So as you can see, I scheduled the first webinar for week 15. I think we're in week 16 or 17 by now, but that's fine. We can easily manage that small delay. Yeah, so in this syllabus, you see some events here: webinar session, forum exercise, reading material. These are all interactive exercises, efforts that will prepare you for the tutoring activity. Then I also listed for each week, this is just a suggested timeline, I listed for each week self-study modules. This is an ideal timeline to go through the PM1 modules. Now obviously if you have been to PM1 before, or you just completed the self-study package of PM1, this doesn't apply to you because it's already completed in the system. In some of the feedbacks, you will refer your learners to PM1 modules, so it is important to understand the structure of these modules because this is what your learners are going through themselves. Okay, so here's the graded assignment. This is an important part where you have to review and provide feedback on sample PM1 written assignments that I have collected from previous cohorts. Then later on in May, I also plan to have another webinar session where I will demonstrate how our tutoring platform works. This is optional, actually. This is optional, so I will see if you guys really want that. We can have that session. By this time, I will give you access to the tutoring platform, and if I see that many of you are stuck, we will have this session. What is important about the feedback phase and the preparatory phase, why we have these two phases in the tutoring program. By the end of the preparatory phase, so by late May, let's say last weeks of May, we both need to be convinced, you as well and me as well, that you're ready to start the tutoring activity. In some cases, I understand that circumstances change, that you have an extra workload, or you have just simply changed your mind, and this whole tutoring activity is not something you can associate with. It is important to make this decision in a responsible manner, because from this point onwards, if I do associate learners to you, it is really, really difficult to change that once you have already established connection with your learners. So I really need you to make a good and sound decision that that you are ready to start, and you have the necessary capacity to do this. You can say it doesn't come with any kind of penalty or you know, marking you a dropout or anything like that. If you say, thanks Attila, I cannot do this because it takes too much of my time, I made a wrong decision to sign up. I will not be angry. That's the best thing you can do, because then I will not be in trouble later on. I will be in trouble later on if you start working with the learner, let's say by the 2nd of June or the 3rd of June, I do give you a learner, or I give you 2 learners, that's even worse, and then in July you tell me, sorry, I cannot do it. Then I need to search for a tutor urgently, and by that time your learners have already been exposed to delayed feedback, which is really bad. That brings a bad image to us, the GLC, and we really want to avoid that. So I don't want to drag this topic too long, but just please think of the preparatory phase as the time when you can really test yourself whether you're ready to do the tutoring or not, and I will fully expect your choice if you tell me that you cannot. Obviously, we are all here to complete this, and I would really want all of you to start the work and finish the work successfully in a few months' time, around August or September, when your learners are all marked completed and they can join the final workshop in Budapest. But it's really a responsible decision that we both need to make. And then, without a lot of details, we will talk about this much more in the future. The feedback phase running from June until the end of August. 3 assignments to review for maximum 2 learners. I might not give 2 learners to all of you. I will see that based on the capacity. And in this feedback period, I also planned some webinar sessions where we can discuss details on the assignments themselves, the assignments that you will be reviewing in terms of content. So these sessions, these webinar sessions, when the feedback phase is already begun, are really like content kind of session where we discuss what to include, what to focus on when you're working on assignments from your learners. Let me know if you have questions. I talked a lot already. Yasmin is saying, please share with us the timeline. Sure, but this document is already with you. It was attached to the broadcast that you received and that you used to apply. Okay, so it's already there, but obviously I will make it available apart from that as well. Any questions at this point? Any comments? There are a few people typing, so I will wait for that. This session is being recorded, just to let you know, and I will make it available as well so others can view it who are not here today. Mohammed Azarkani, just a small question. What kind of persons we are going to tutor? A good question. I will try to match your profile with other person's profile. I cannot tell you at the moment, but normally you would. The standard practice is that I give you 2 learners. I give you 1 learner who is with an international profile, non-program, who is, that person will be kind of just getting familiar with program management. You can think of protection colleagues or admin colleagues or sectoral experts who could be a P2, P3 grade person with a with a number of years in UNHCR, but with little exposure to program stuff. That's one learner. And normally the second learner that I give you will be from the general stuff in program, who is very new to the function. So you will be tutoring both an MFT member, and also a program colleague with just a few years, 1-2 years in the program function. I will not give you a learner from your own operation. That's a very strict criteria that I keep, because it doesn't really work well. It does work in some cases. I had some people specifically asking that, but I think it's much more interesting to be talking to someone from a different operational context. All right. Andreas Combi, what about the situation where the learner has to go on leave within the learning period in relation to deadline delivery? I mean, in that situation, your role as a tutor is very important, because your learner will primarily be discussing deadlines with you. I really trust in the tutors who I work with. You don't need to ask from us about these deadlines. You don't need to ask if you can give 1 or 2, 3 weeks extension from a learner. That's really your responsibility. If you feel that the learner is doing a good progress, but for some reason he or she needs few more weeks because the deadline coincides with the family leave or maybe sickness or any kind of personal issue, that's you to keep track of. So it's really a responsible position, and you need to understand that, because your learners are in your hands from that aspect. Because if they don't get a pass mark on their assignments, they are not invited to a workshop. So they will probably be going to you for all kind of negotiations, and you have that power. Obviously, if there are several months of delays, we wouldn't want to see that. But a few weeks is perfectly fine. You can easily negotiate that on your own without us to intervene. Yasmin, do you think we can arrange for a webinar during the learning period, feedback period, so we can all exchange information and experience? Absolutely. That's absolutely possible. I normally have those sessions. Webinars are a bit time demanding because we need to all stick to the same schedule, which is not always possible. I do these polls, just I did for this session, and I choose the most appropriate timing. But definitely, I think it's a good practice to see, to hear the experience from other tutors, to see what's working well, what's a challenge. I will also try to communicate with you in an alternative way, because if you know me, you know that I'm not really good with emails, and there are a lot of tutors and even more learners, so email for me is difficult. And I do believe that even though emails will never diminish from a huge organization like UNHCR, but we do need to try to limit email and try other ways of communication. I will try to use a new interface called Slack to channel the e-tutoring program communication. This is sort of a group chat space, and we will use this space to exchange practice, share a good piece of feedback, share any questions or information in general. So yes, Yasmin, there's definitely a variety of options for sharing experience as we go. Yeah. Any more questions, comments? Faiza could not join today. I'm really sad because it would have been interesting to hear his stories, but in this tutor community which I mentioned, you will also see names who have been with us for a number of years. So the tutoring community is one big community where you will have access to. Okay, and this community has a lot of people who maybe have been tutoring for 4 or 5 years with me, so you can also ask them for advice, not only the 20-something colleagues who are in the tutoring program for 2019. So that's also a good space for sharing experience. I will give you more information on that, definitely in the coming days. Okay. I see 2 more persons typing. I scheduled 1 hour, so we still have like 6 or even more minutes if you have more questions. But you can also talk to me. I always prefer to hear people's voice than just read messages. So if you have anything to share and your mic is working, you're free to unmute yourself and just tell me. So I saw Harun typing and I saw Margarita typing. Okay, Harun is there. Is there any expert person that we can communicate with him for any issue and seek guidance during this program? Expert person meaning what? I'm not sure. I understand. You can talk to me. I'm not an expert, but I know a few things about this program and the content of PM1 and anything that you will face during this program. You can always talk to me. But if you could be a bit more specific in this question, I can answer it. Okay, so I see Margarita's question. I was just trying to say that peer support from more experienced tutors seem to be very useful. It would be great to have more info on how to liaise with them if need be. Could we have a Yammer group, for example? Absolutely. I will set up a collaboration space for the tutoring program that will be set up in an interface called Slack. It's similar to Yammer, but it's much better than Yammer. You will see, you will hear more about that. I will invite you into this space, and in this space you will have a lot of tutors who've been working in other cohorts and who are working in this cohort and who have experience from previous years. Absolutely, that's always very much welcomed by tutors, and I know sometimes it's difficult to just start the process and you need a sort of support and I try my best to set up those conversations. All right, Harun, if Harun is here, I mean a program staff who can fix our error if we are faced during this program. If you mean a program, if you mean a colleague from the GLC who can fix your errors, definitely we are all here available for any support you might need. If you need advice from a program staff from the field, you're also at the best place, because this community should also serve for any kind of questions. You will see later, you can use this community for any kind of questions you may face in your work, because we'll all work together on tutoring, but we will develop good context for discussion of any kind of topic. So I hope I answered your question in that regard. Okay, so I think let's call it a session. It's 3:59, so we are very timely. If you don't have any more questions, I'll close it down. And a lot more info is coming very soon. I need to ask for your patience and your willingness to familiarize yourself with all the information I'm going to send you and all the interfaces that we are using. I know it takes some effort, but it will definitely yield results later on. So please don't give up if you see a different interface that you need to register and that you need to use to work. I know it's difficult to work from the distance, but it's also a very rewarding exercise, I can assure you. So thanks a lot for being here. See you later, and I'm really looking forward to start working with all of you. Have a great day, and bye-bye.